welcome to Connect2Pods, commercial services group recruitment podcast for job seekers and employees alike. Today's episode is a very special one. To celebrate the launch of Connect2Halton, we are talking to their business manager, Nicola Fedigan, and have asked her some questions about a business in its first year. Hello, Nicola.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Glad to hear it. So on to our first question. What trends do you anticipate shaping the recruitment industry in the coming year?
I think there's a few. I think recruitment as a whole, there's always a lot of talk of innovation, but actually there's a lot of basics that remain the same over all the years. I think there is more of a trend nowadays towards more of a total package. People aren't so focused on the salary. People want to know what other benefits they can get, how the job fits in with their life. There's a much more of a focus on work-life balance and hybrid and all of those kind of bits and pieces. So I think that's something that we definitely need to consider, that people want to know that whole package, not just... Obviously, salary is important. We are in a cost of living crisis still, but it isn't the be all and end all. So I think looking at that as a whole, what the role does for them, a big focus definitely for myself, and I see it in a lot of other places, is that wellness and mental health, and is not sitting there being totally stressed out and burnt out all the time. And it is about that balance. So I think coming at attraction and also working with the people that we're working with to kind of find out what is important to the candidate. It's not just a basic, this is what you'll do and this is what you'll get for it, but also those other bits of development and that whole package.
I totally agree, and it's really important to nail those basics first. So what industries or sectors that you cover do you foresee experiencing the highest demand for talent in the next year, and how does your agency plan to capitalise on it?
Like probably the majority of local councils, very much around care, social work, specifically around children's services, there's always a huge demand for that sort of space. I think specifically in Halton, we do have a big demand around kind of waste and recycling. It's a very kind of, they're big on very kind of green projects, and the area is lovely. It's always very clean. So there's a big demand about that. I think for us, sort of capitalising that beautifully, we are based right next to a college that does care and social work. So we'll be getting some really good links with that. As a whole, Halton Council have got a lot of plans that we're working with them on to be an employer of choice. So we will be looking to kind of capitalise on some of the bits that they're also doing, and just really kind of being that link and having the great relationship between the services within the council and ourselves, making sure that our candidates know what they can get from us and from being with the council, and also that the council know what we can provide, and making sure that, I think it's just about being that sort of open and honest about great things about the roles and working for the council, but also what can be the challenges. It can be very challenging, specifically in that social work arena. It's not an easy job. It's something that you really, really need to want to do and have a passion for. And I think it's about us understanding that and getting that across the board.
Yeah, and I think people really do appreciate that openness and honesty. Speaking of, how will Connect2Halton differentiate itself to attract both clients and candidates?
A big part of my whole ethos in my whole career in recruitment has been recruitment is a people industry, and it's about the people that we have as a team, myself included, on how we engage with people, how we aren't just there ticking boxes, hitting numbers. It can, especially in a sort of agency space, recruitment can be very much a numbers game, and we forget that we're dealing with people at the end of the day, and people don't always fit in a particular box, but it's what else can we do, and working with those people. And that's with candidates and clients. There's going to be roles that we come across that aren't particularly maybe easy or aren't standard. We find that a lot in that kind of local government space, that there are some weird and wonderful roles out there, but it is that those relationships we have with people, which seems quite simple and straightforward, but actually I think can get forgotten a little bit. So it's working with people, getting them to know who we are as people as much as a company. Openness and honesty is a big key thing that we all have across the team. We're not there to sort of blag people a little bit. If people aren't right for the role, they'll know they're not right, but they'll also know why they're not right and what else we can help them with. And I think that's a big thing, that kind of reputation. It takes time. We've had a great engagement so far from Halton Council across all the services, and it's perfect because we are based in Halton Council's main building, so people can just pop up and see us. So that client side is, touch wood, so far been quite nice. And then with the candidates themselves, we're based really locally. We'll be out in the community. We'll be doing different bits and pieces. We have some really good CSR plans as well, just to kind of help, not only with the marketing, but to genuinely help in the community. And I think that's the big piece, that people know that we are genuine people. We're there to help them out and do what we can to support both sides.
Yeah, I really think that personable approach does go a long way. However, this has been the theme of the year, maybe even the last 2 years, with the emergence of new technologies like AI and automation. How do you see these innovations influencing the recruitment process in the near future?
I suppose I'm a little bit 50-50 about a lot of technology. I think there's lots of things that it can do to really help us out, and anything that can make your life a little bit easier. Sometimes there can be quite a lot of admin and things like that you can automate, and it can make things a lot easier. We have a great system here, one of the best that I've certainly used, and I do quite love a spreadsheet, so anything that can do us like that that helps us out. I think that at the minute there's quite a lot of negative press around sort of AI and automation. I think a lot of candidates think that, and it might be the case that some companies are using things like AI to automatically reject CVs and read through them. I did look at a project for a similar thing at one point, but for me, you've got to have that human touch. There's no sort of one size fits all for CVs. There's no set template. There's nothing like that. So you've got to kind of read it through. I think if it's used in the right way, there's a lot of really good things that can come out of using AI, all sorts of technology. It can be very beneficial and can really make your life a lot easier, but I think you've got to be careful to make sure that you use it in the right way. It shouldn't be a replacement. It should be a tool that you use to help. We will be hearing a lot more about these sorts of things, but we'll certainly be still a people-centric place.
That's great to hear. I think AI has always been this taboo word, the boogeyman. So as long as it's not going to affect your core business plan, then it's not really a problem, is it? My last question for you is, what are your goals for the growth and success of Connect2Halton in the coming year?
So with this year being our first year, officially from September, a lot of what we'll be focusing on is building those relationships, building up our talent pipeline, getting our name out there, getting our brand recognised in the community. From there, obviously, we will be looking to, still bring in the direct fill, bring in people on the books and things like that, and kind of grow. From there, eventually, we would love to kind of maybe look at some external trading and things, but that's more a few years off. I think for this year, our main focus is in really building those relationships, building the brand, like I say, and becoming that employer of choice, like I mentioned earlier. I think that's a big key focus for us.
Amazing. Well, that's everything. Thank you very much, Nicola, for coming on the podcast today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And I hope that you have a fantastic first year of business.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for listening to this special episode of Connect2Pods.
We'll be releasing an episode every month on Spotify, YouTube, and our own site, so make sure to subscribe to keep up to date. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to reach out to us, email connect2pods@gmail.com. Connect with us again in the next episode.
Yeah.